Well, this morning I talked about how today was all about those moving averages, and we absolutely smashed through some of them. This is a very good sign for us moving forward throughout this week. So, also those best penny stocks to buy now: ONDS up almost 30%, NVTS up about 10%, Big Bear AI stock up about 16%, and then we had RZLV up 6.67%. Incredible numbers all throughout the markets. I have a couple more penny stocks for you in this video to share as well. We'll also touch on Bitcoin on the way there as well. So let's look and see how things are going. We'll come back to ONDS. Let's just talk about the SPY quick. I always like to talk about the background market bias because I said we had to get back on top of the 5. Well, the market listened for once, had to get back up on top of the 5. We did. 13 we did, and the 50. All three of those closing up above them. That is a very bullish thing. The next thing that we're looking for the SPY is this shelf that we have that sits right around 674 to 676. We want to overtake this previous peak, which goes along with the resistances that we saw back over here. So those low to mid 670s, absolutely overtaking them, certainly breaking this peak that we have here, that high price at 675.56 for SPY. When we go to the Qs, you can see the shelf that we have on here. The important number here is 609.76. I talked about that before. As soon as we lost it, we had a big old drop, and now it's a matter of fact trying to get back up above it. Those moving averages looking a lot like they did for SPY as well. 609.76, that's that number, and that takes us into about, we'll say about up to about 614, sitting on top of that. Very critical. We have a couple more resistances along the way. Now, mind you, if we can keep the punch going at the party with this bullish crossover, hopefully reversing things back around the other way, breaking up above 640 is absolutely huge. There's not a lot that's up here to stop us from a much higher climb. Talking about the same thing for SPY. Once we clear 689, almost 690, there's not a lot breaking us from climbing all the way up to 726, and then 756 is after that. When we go over to, actually I'm jumping the gun here, let's go to IWM, then we'll go to Bitcoin, up almost 2% today, closing up above the 5, 13, and 50. This is getting into very bullish territory. I'm sorry, I'm a little excited and still a little sick. So let's move on from here. So absolutely closing up above the moving averages like we want to see. That doesn't mean we won't come back and retest any sort of support, but that is a very good sign for us to see that climb happening. It would be nice if some volumes came along with it. I would say that was the one weakness that we got, is that we don't see the same conviction that we had. Actually sort of subdued volume for SPY, the Qs, and then also IWM. Watch the RSI for all three of them on the daily chart. It needs to break back up above 50. So the RSI is the next thing that we want to be watching. That sign that the momentum is back. Volume going along with it would be absolutely excellent. Low conviction moves aren't necessarily great. They can set us up for traps. But as per the moving averages, we're in good shape so far. Bitcoin. Bitcoin's volume is actually pretty decent so far. This is not a closing candle because Bitcoin never sleeps. Crypto never sleeps. We are currently up above the 5 EMA. It's a good start. We need to see that continue. So we want to watch where this candle closes today. And we also want to see these volumes continue to push. Right now it's above this 20-period moving average that I have on here. It's not astounding like we had here, but I talked about that massive volume with that long bottom tail. That sort of volume bomb is usually a sign that you found a bottom, and it's the opposite when you have the long tail on the top and you're at a particular peak. So between being oversold like we were, that long tail touching off of support, big old volume, that turnaround is something to be expected, at least as much as we can know to expect something like that. So for Bitcoin, watch for that touch in the 13 and that low 90,000, 91,006 is about where that's sitting at right now. Watch this resistance up here, especially if we break up above the 13. We got to get back up above 96,000, which is this other trend line that you see across here. All right, into the penny stocks. Like I said, I'll recap the ones that I talked about this morning, and then I'll talk about some of the others that I have for you that I think are very much worth watching that haven't necessarily popped yet. So ONDS, the big winner, 29.47% today for that climb. Take a look at the hourly chart, because I had this resistance here, which now we've actually tagged it as support pretty much to the penny here. So the top of this 830, we actually came down to $8.31 on this candle. So within a penny, did we get that retouch of support and then carried back on from there. Took another bit of a climb after that. So this could be very good to see that. Plus the momentum on the daily chart is at about 60, very ripe for a further climb from here versus the last time that we were up at this area which we were in fairly overbought territory. Now we have a momentum reset. Lots of volume supporting this move, even more volume than what we had before. This thing could push on up to this line that we have up here, about $12.54. We'll say almost another $4, so almost about 50%. We'll say 40 to 50% to make that movement from where it's moved so far, if the market bias can stay at its back. Big Bear AI. This one, nice old move today. Now, let me take down all the lines so we can see just the moving averages. I talked about this support at the 200. Well, I'll tell you what. Man, we got a massive candle here. The volume conviction, not as strong as what we got from ONDS, but it's certainly better than some of the volumes that we saw back over here during this consolidation period with these low, choppy, sort of dropping off candles. And then you saw the volume come into that. So we're still seeing those elevated volumes, just not necessarily locally elevated from some of the other volumes that we've had. We're above the 200. That's a bullish thing. We're also above the 5 and the 13. Perfect. Now we need to get back up above the 50, and those bullish crossovers can really propel us much higher than we're at for right now, from right here. So NVTS, 9.66%. This is a bullish setup that we have here. That bounce off the 200, absolutely gorgeous and sweet. As soon as we broke up above that peak on this candle from Friday, we got to move off to the races, closed up above the 5. We want to watch to get clearance up above the 13. So there might be an initial rejection, but watch for the intraday retest tomorrow, for example, if tomorrow's a good day in the markets, and then maybe we push higher. We've got to break that 13, then that 50 is our last stumbling block. But those bullish crossovers that can happen if we can get the price action above the 50, getting the 5 to cross the 50, good. Getting the 13 to cross the 50, great. That can be an excellent sign for bullishness. So we could see a nice little bounce coming off of NVTS yet. RZLV, a little bit of a pop. We're struggling with the 5. Now we're struggling with the 13. We closed above the 5. That's perfect. The volumes are actually still pretty good on this. Not great, not like what we saw before, but they are starting to grow, and I call this an accumulation zone. So absolutely keep RZLV in mind. Keep it on your list. This could just still be just the beginning of this turnaround that we saw before. Got a big old pop on Thursday of last week. I was able to cash in on that, and then we kind of pulled back a little bit into Friday, and now we're trying to really start getting things going. And this thing was up massively. This thing moved up to about $8.47, and we could see that potential push back up. But we got the 50 to cross, we got the 200 to cross. We are in bearish territory for this one. So this is a little bit different than what we saw for the other three so far that were all up above their 200 EMA and in bullish territory. REKR, haven't gotten that move yet. Watch for a move. If we're able to break these two previous peaks, this could be something very bullish for us. And we want to see if we can get that. So if we start to pop about 178 or higher, especially if we get volume support, we got to get that cross, that movement up over. We had some bearish crossovers already. And I'll tell you what, this thing really tumbled from where we're at. It went all the way up to $3.42. We're about 50% down from that peak. And now we're getting down to that 200. This could be that reset that we're looking for. We never got that retest from when we broke up over the 200 on the 15th of September. We get that retest so far. Now we want to see that movement back north. We'll say 178 plus. If we start to get those green candles, especially if we gap up above that and we get volume support, that can be very good. Keep REKR, Recourse Systems, on your list of the best penny stocks to buy now. I think it still has huge potential for further move to the upside in the near future. Looks very impressive right now. Once again, another touch on that 200 day. There's that long bottom wick. Look at the volumes, though. This is the one thing right now that doesn't really impress me, is that there's not a lot of conviction, not a lot of movement. That means there might not be that volatility yet, but structurally, it's looking pretty darn good. Get that volume pumping. It's about as low as it's been in a long while here. We had to go back to September to see that. There's not a lot of interest in it right now, which could explain some of the subdued movement that we're seeing. We're in the post-market hours. We're up above that 5. We did get rejected at the 5 so far, but we took a nice strong bounce off that 200. So VERI is that ticker symbol for Veritone Inc. And then Ocugen, there we go, just recently had a retest of its 200 day. We're trading up above it. We were able to take the 5 EMA, the tickers in the background back here, OCGN, and this is the daily chart that we're looking at. So far, that turnaround could be a very good one. We haven't retested the 200 since going all the way back to June of 25. Now we have that momentum reset coming off of oversold territory, getting into overall bullish territory, but still the momentum isn't there yet, and the volume conviction isn't there either, but this absolutely should stay on your list. SERV Robotics Inc., down in bearish territory below the 200 EMA. but making an impressive turnaround. So we didn't have the volumes. We did have this low bottom wick, and then we traded up above it today. That's near term a good sign. We are down below this structure, which could be resistance for us. Watch the volumes, watch the movement, watch for the RSI to pop 50 for SERV. So SERV Robotics Inc. is the last penny stock that I have for you in this video. So guys, if I make any transactions on this, on any of these, I will share them over at the Discord. Links in the description. Code word doctor when you sign up for Stockmo Academy. Those courses linked out of the description for you as well. You can see the technicals. You learn how to do them yourself. You can learn how to trade using those technicals with the bread recipe, which is a trading strategy that I personally use in my team up with Stockmo. It's nice to be able to really combine forces. So for the Discord, you can see us over there. I'm one of the panel experts. And then those courses through Stockmo Academy, they really are incredible with the way that they've been put together. Code word doctor is going to save you $400 when you sign up for the course. If you bundle the two courses together, the trading with technicals and options is the other course where it allows you to trade directionally. You can also trade lack of volatility. You can trade high volatility. There's all sorts of things that you can do. You can learn all about it through that options course, also linked in the description through Stockmo Academy. Code word doctor, $400 off. Bundling will get you a bundle discount as well. Guys, thank you very much for watching. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning. We'll see you next video.